Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Mara.
Mara who?
Mara, Mara on the wall. Let me in. I'm in the hall. It's the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. Thanks for stopping by Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. We are your main men. I am Magic Lasso. Happy to have you here joining me. And I say hello to Comic Foo 2814. Hi, how are you and how was your week?
It's going great.
Awesome.
I'm doing well.
Good.
I spent the day cleaning my comic room, so that's always fun. Yeah, always discovering stuff.
Now that you're all warmed up, you can come clean my comic room.
All right. I might leave with a few things.
No. Yes. And then we say hello as well to Signature King Antonio.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Another wonderful day in the comic book community.
It is.
How'd you get out of the opening joke? I see.
Oh, yeah, I missed it. Yeah.
Apologies to John, by the way, who was here for that one.
I'm sure it was a good one. I'll have to check it out.
On the rewind. How many Mara jokes are there? Not that many. But let me tell you what, more than there are Lobo jokes, because I looked.
You looked?
Well, when you say Mara jokes, I mean, what are we talking about? Like Mara, or like, you know?
That's what I said.
Amber
Mara.
He fell right into it. He doesn't even know it.
Tony.
No, I mean, I see what you mean. Okay.
Mara.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Mara.
Mara who?
Mara on the wall. Let me in. I'm in the hall.
Thank you, Tony.
And then you know what I do? This. Welcome to the greatest DC comic.
Just start over.
Do you ever relive the same moment twice, Foo?
Deja vu, huh?
Yeah. Do you ever relive the same moment twice, Foo?
Yeah.
Hello to John's Comics with Kids, the first in the live chat here with us tonight. Hope you're doing well. And a big howdy to I Collect a Lot, who has stopped by to see us. And our great friend, Poor Mike, is back with us this week. It's awesome to have you here. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're watching on the rewind, I have mine that's actually in another room, but I see it every day because it's near my keys.
You can.
Mine's just covered up right now by some action figures, but
it's back there.
You can kind of see it's right up against the corner up here, right there. It's
yeah.
right
yeah, I see it. Very nice. You can't see mine. Mine's back there.
Back there.
Yeah.
Mine is in the other room.
Yeah.
But I do see it.
We all have to do it. You got to do it too.
Fine. Talks amongst yourselves.
Now you've made him upset, Tony. Way to go.
Well, we had to. It's only fair, right?
Hey, you know.
Man.
How's your week been?
Good. San Diego Comic-Con coming up in 3 days.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
3 days.
Nice. That's probably one convention I can't see myself ever getting out to. It's just so far away.
Honestly, distance, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
He's not lying.
And you know what I have to say to that? Welcome to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. Tony.
So I am looking at some of these DC exclusives for San Diego Comic-Con. Looking at just the apparel side, like shirts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's still some really cool stuff, like a couple of Kingdom Come t-shirts. That's pretty cool. I've been really looking at this DC Universe Rebirth hoodie, where it's like the one where they're like, touching, Dr. Manhattan, the cover of DC Rebirth #1. Like they have that wrapped around on a shirt or a hoodie. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Do you remember last week we were talking about they were going to have this Detective 27 facsimile movie variant cover, but we didn't know anything more than that? Do you remember when we talked about that last week?
I do.
Fu was like, no, I don't remember that. Fu, do you remember last week?
Very vaguely, yeah.
Well,
no, I was looking up San Diego
like.
Comic-Con looking for any Green Lantern.
That's what it's going to look
cool.
like. That is pretty cool.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So, issue 1 of Absolute Zero, you know how like lately they've been doing a lot of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez covers from like the old retro 70s character. Yep, I got that one. There's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive of all the characters on one cover. It's pretty awesome.
We covered that last week in the Retro Review News too.
Oh, did we? Oh man,
yeah. It's foil. Don't you remember, Tony? I said it was foil.
It doesn't. It just says cardstock. It doesn't say foil.
Oh, is it? Because the initial thing I saw said foil.
Either way, I think it looks really cool.
Although I will say, when they did the solicits for these, they said that these were wraparounds, and they're not.
Yeah,
I think they work. I don't think they would work as well as wraparounds, because what would you get on the cover? The butt. You know, I mean, that's your front cover. So.
Yeah, why would they make that a wraparound? Yeah,
but they aren't wraparound. So.
Did you see the Creature Commandos one? What do you think of that one?
I don't know if I saw that.
From the Gunverse, Frankenstein Agent of Shade #1, Creature Commandos, tie-in story.
No.
That looks interesting. And then All-Star Superman #1 and Batman number 150.
Okay.
But I think if I had to pick any one of these, it'd be the Absolute Power Jose Luis Garcia Lopez variant.
Yeah, that whole group shot.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
There's a old school Zatanna on there.
Speaking of Zatanna, we kind of talked about this several weeks back because I think it was during the London Comic-Con, some of the upcoming facsimiles broke, and Zatanna's first appearance in Hawkman Volume 1, Issue 4 is coming out as a facsimile. That has been confirmed by DC. We now know that's going to be in the month of October. Also in October, a Batman 237 facsimile, which is a kind of a classic Halloween issue. And then, of course, the Crisis on Infinite Earths #7, Death of Supergirl facsimile. The 3 facsimiles lined up for October from DC, officially confirmed, but all of those were leaked weeks ago because I remember us talking about that.
Another cool cover, Funeral for a Friend issue 5. The Superman statue, where he's like got the eagle sitting right here. They did a McFarlane action figure variant.
Oh right, yes,
of that.
I did see that, the gold one, right?
Yeah, the gold one. Yeah, but you can get a cardstock cover or a foil cover. It looks like. So very cool. And if you go to San Diego Comic-Con, you can put in for a chance to win it for free. So I was like, what the heck? Nice. I'll throw my name in. Those who win will get one issue signed by Doug Hazelwood, who I guess is one of the artists on the issue. I believe he's the inker. So that's pretty cool.
Cool. So also in October, we're getting a brand new series, a 12-issue monthly series co-plotted by Mark Waid called Batman and Robin Year 1. Thoughts about that?
Yeah, I could go for it. I can see that. Very cool. I can see that. That'd be neat.
And then probably the biggest DC Comics news story is we are getting a new universe again.
What?
Why are you guys like, I have no idea what you're even talking about?
Didn't we just get one like this week?
Well, we're getting the Absolute version.
Yeah,
the Absolute
okay.
DC.
Yeah,
so
right.
So
I didn't know. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so some of these they're calling it a jumping on point with some specific titles like Catwoman and I think Titans was another jumping on point because they're not going to restart the numbering or anything. But then there's other series, aka the ones that are selling well just the way they are right now, that they're not touching and they're leaving alone. Like, for example, Wonder Woman's going to stay, at least the way I understand this, Wonder Woman, the regular comic book by Tom King, is going to just stay the way it is. But there'll be an Absolute Wonder Woman comic book as well. That's a whole different universe. Now, when it comes to this Absolute, like they said with the Big Trinity, Bruce will not have the money, Clark will not have the family, and Diana won't have the island. So they're taking like big dynamics that kind of made those characters who they are away.
Interesting.
So we'll see. I mean, is this something that I think is going to last a long time? No. I mean, we can go 5 years, but what's 5 years in the grand scheme of things?
What's Batman without, the money? What is he?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Just literally a dude.
Absolutely broke Batman is what he is.
Yeah, absolutely broke.
Yeah, he needs the money.
Who is that superhero? Not superhero, the Kick-Ass. He's Kick-Ass.
He's Kick-Ass.
He's the adult version of Kick-Ass. Just decided to throw some stuff on and hit people with a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is all leading in with a DC Comics all-in one-shot book that will kind of be introducing this. And also the way I understood it, it has something to do with Darkseid. Darkseid, it's his Omega beams, like being hit by his Omega beams or something, trigger this alternate world or something. And they're going to draw it full circle with the death of Justice League back in that Justice League 75 issue a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stayed dead long, right?
Yeah. A whole, 3 or 4 issues?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree, but it's a slow news week because we are literally just 3 days from San Diego Comic-Con.
I mean, all the big news will be happening.
And
announced this upcoming weekend too.
I'm sure, this Sunday we can just talk about news. You know what I mean? There's gonna be so much of it. Might as well not even pick a story.
Yeah. Anything else going on news wise?
Not much.
Did you pick up on that though? By the way, Lasso.
Pick up on
Isn't
what?
next week Tony's pick?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
You see what he just did? All right.
Baby.
Yeah.
How you doing, Bobby? Bobby also thinks that the butt sells. That's right.
Yep.
What is Bottom Tier Collector saying? I'm the Magic Lasso equivalent for Lobo. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for being here.
Nice.
What are we saying here?
The drawer boxes, are they worth it? Yeah, I love the drawer boxes. They've totally held up. It's actually it's been several years now.
Is there a limit how high you can go?
I've seen people take them 5 high. I just don't feel comfortable going much more than 3 high. I mean, I shouldn't say it. I would feel comfortable. It's just 3 is about it's good for me because I can put stuff on top and yeah.
Say hello to Tony, the old Wolf 65, who stopped by.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Cool. Go get your San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I'm sure they'll be on eBay for.
I'm sure they're already on eBay.
I'm sure they are.
Sure they are too.
That blows my mind. Like people already selling them. Like, how do you even have them?
They don't.
See, with my luck, if I tried doing that, I wouldn't be able to get a copy that I promised away.
Well, they're willing to cancel the order. That's all.
But you know what? That to me is so unethical.
But that's what it is.
Exactly, that's what they do.
Yeah.
I was looking for some of these exclusives on on eBay for San Diego Comic-Con. I saw people putting up their parking passes, their press pass. I don't even know how you get away with the press pass. Some guy was he was selling his volunteer shirt and his ID so you can get in.
Oh, that's not right.
That's not right, but I mean, yeah, that's dangerous.
A security risk right there.
I mean, this might be a hot take to say, but is it worth it? I mean, from what I hear, that's pretty overcrowded, and at some points, because it's so overcrowded, it's hard to enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. There's limits to what I'm willing to tolerate. If I'm just like squeezed in there and I gotta like trip over everybody's stuff to go around, yeah, it's
that's how it got at Emerald City, and this is like over a decade ago now, and it was just like, it's not worth it anymore.
Well, Emerald City seems like a good con. Back 10 years ago, superheroes weren't even peaked yet; they were still climbing, so that makes sense to me.
I mean, I'm not a cosplayer like the two of you, but I can't imagine that. I mean, I've lost them already.
It
The look Antonio
took
gave
me a second, then I realized what you meant
The
for me.
look Antonio gave me was
Well, it took me a minute
priceless.
to figure it out. Like,
But I would just say, I mean,
I think I'll take the squirrel in this case, though.
Uh-oh. Look at what that prompted.
There you go. There you
Hey,
go.
Jason,
Speaking
how
of-
you doing?
Baltimore Comic-Con, I'll be hopefully hanging out with Mr. Southern Comic Book Geek. That'd be pretty
That's
cool.
all. I'll tell you something about. I'll tell you.
He's gonna force you into a photo you don't want to be in, and before you even realize what's going on, trust me.
Like the second you first meet him,
Yeah, yeah,
and then he throws you over next to someone and goes, "He's a furry." Snap.
yeah, exactly.
But let me tell you something about Southern Comic Geek. I have come to realize with Southern Comic Geek, there is not a comic book in this world that is safe from his reach if he wants to go get it. He will travel the world to get that book he needs.
I've got a couple of Turoks with his name on it.
Look at first.
Yeah,
That
it's
was great.
there's a lot of people going this year to Baltimore that I'm really excited about. Southern's one of them. There's so many people. It's going to be busy, in a good way. In a good way.
Nice.
And they're all getting their own copy of Superman 500 because I only have 248 of them.
You only have 248 left?
Yeah,
No.
I got 300. Dude, people were so confused last year. I was just handing them out like, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go.
I would have made
like,
them subscribe. I would have made them show it to me on their phone before I would have handed it over.
Nah.
I would have.
I got sick of carrying them. Although I did give 2 away to Philip Kenny Johnson's son. One for him to like keep it in the package, you know what I mean? And a second one for him to tear open and enjoy. And Philip Kenny Johnson was like high-fiving me. He's like, dude, that is so awesome. And he signed even more of my stuff for free. So I was like, well, that's all it takes. Good. Like hell yeah, I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna give it away.
Tony's just there handing out dollar bin books, like
dollar bin books. These are like the 75-cent bin books.
right.
Yeah, I've got so many. I got sick of carrying them almost immediately.
You know, weren't there some tweets, something about Harley Quinn just handed me a Superman comic on Confused?
Yeah, I think so. I do remember seeing those.
I don't recall.
Okay.
I don't recall. That sounds like fake news.
Fake
That
news.
That sounds like fake news.
Okay. So if there's no other news, we segue into the retro review picked by 2814. Why did you pick this tonight? And tell us about your motivation behind this.
Well, I was just thinking about characters that we haven't reviewed yet, and I was thinking, hey, we have. I don't think we've ever done the Deadpool of the DC universe, Lobo, and so I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, why don't I'll pick like several of his best stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I first went to what is it, Omega Man #3,
Mm-hmm.
and I started looking at that one, and he really does feel like kind of a different character there. He looks different, and I just thought, I don't know if this is really, if it's going to work well. And so I started looking at some others, and I came across Lobo. I think it's the first volume, and I took a quick look through it, and I thought, this looks like a really good story. So that's what we're going to do tonight. The Lobo Volume 1, the first miniseries, issues 1 through 4.
Awesome. If you want to pull up the assist,
yeah.
I will say hello to Ruban Guzman, the White Tiger Cool Calm Collected, WTCCC, who has joined us here. And he is saying, ever read Lobo while listening to Lost Lobos? Not yet, but we would tonight if it wasn't for copyright infringement. Otherwise, we would.
So this is from 1990.
YouTube is 90. I'll kick us off. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about.
I think I do. It's,
Okay.
There was a channel there, right?
Yes. Yeah, Chad. 90 MF.
Yeah.
90 MF Comics. And MF was miles from.
Yes. I remember that now. Yes.
Yeah, not something else. So
Yeah.
I'll kick us off with the main man's issue number 1 tonight. And there we got that interesting cover pose, just kind of how you would like your school picture to look every year if you brought it home. And, poor Mike remembers him. Yeah, YouTube is 90. So here, I'll tell you something that's very interesting. Look at that page. Keep that page up right there. Look at my digital version of that. Notice something missing?
The title?
The title text.
The
yeah.
title is. They took the title text up.
Czarnian.
Yeah, that's weird. Interesting. So we start out with Lobo. He's like, "Can you believe this? Can you do that? Someone would pull this kind of stunt on me, the assassin to royalty and scourge of the cosmos." And as we go on, we find out that he's like, people got too much moxie, not enough common sense. Well, I can guarantee one thing. I'll give it back to them. And what he's upset about is someone has written a book about his life. He says it's the longest suicide note ever written, which means he's going to kill them. And it's the unauthorized biography of Lobo. He's like, nobody slanders the man, least of all not if they want to, stay intact. All of a sudden he hears a little bleep, 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 and he's got to go answer the call. And it's bleeping, and he's kind of yelling at it, hang on, I'm coming, just hold on a minute. And when he answers, it's Vril Dox, who is like, well, it took you long enough. What are you doing? He's like, well, it's none of your business. He's like, well, I have a Legion job for you. He's like, well, can't someone else do it? I got personal matters to attend to. And he's like, well, that can wait. And so they're like, I need you to go get someone out of prison and escort them over. And he's like, a big freaking whoop-de-doo about that. But he was warned, they have to be alive. You can't kill them. So main man takes off on his motorcycle, and he's like, great, I'm a delivery boy, an escort agency, He's like, one of these days I'm going to cut some very important people into some very small pieces. I need the prisoner alive. Geez, he must have said it a dozen times. He really harped on it. Well, you should know, no contract, no kill. So he's just kind of talking to himself as he's making his way over. And while that's going on, we head back to the Legion, who I believe that's Lady Quark, isn't it?
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, I think that's Lady Quark, and she emphasizes, she's like, well, you told them that we need him alive, and they're like, yeah, and I told them a dozen times, and they're like, well, he actually doesn't know what he's about to get into. A hell of a person and a hell of a writer. So we realize he's about to pick up the person who wrote the book on him, and he doesn't know it. So that little one page there of just text right up above, I'm just going to go real fast on that. I'm not going to, there's a few of these in there. That's essentially the history of Lobo, like from his birth, and how his very first victim was his mother after he was born. It was a very weird insert into the story, and they do a couple of those pages. So now we're on Oneida 6, and it's a Legion holding prison world. And Lobo arrives to pick up, who he's supposed to. And he's taking some guff there. And he doesn't care about it. He just wants to get through it and move on. So as they're escorting Lobo, he's kind of like, well, what did this clown do? And they're like, well, she tortured our beloved leader's son. And he's like, that's a crime. And they're like, flunking him is. And he's like, what? So she was the teacher to the world or to this planet's leader's son, and she flunked the son. So that's why she ended up in prison. As they get ready to go into the elevator, Lobo's kind of had enough of this guy that he's been dealing with. And when the elevator opens, out plunks his head. So he has killed someone, not who he was warned not to kill, but he has killed someone. And he says, oh, miss, I think the chief just had a heart attack or something else of a fatal nature. And then we move on, and here at a general bookstore, there is a riot going on. And Lobo's fans are not happy. It's fragging time, Clunkhead, and they're causing a riot. They are upset at this bookstore for selling copies of Lobo's unauthorized biography because it doesn't portray him in a good light, and they're having none of it. And as they continue on, they want to destroy every copy that this bookstore has. They consider it slander, and you don't do that to someone like Lobo, they say. So And then they say something, well, what are we going to do to the author? And like, oh, she's already been arrested. And they're like, are we going to go spring her? And he's like, something like that. And then as a finishing touch, they just completely blow away this bookstore. On the second page, real quickly, on this whole page of text again, we're covering like Lobo's younger years and kind of how he ended up with the physical state with those spikes and stuff on his body and all of that. I love this next page. It's a splash page, and I think the art, it's probably my favorite page on my story. It says, no, I don't believe it. It can't be. It's friggin' impossible. And he looks, and he's like, it's another Czarnian. He's like, I thought I killed all of you. He's like, how could I have missed you? You know? And she's like, hey, it's a woman, an older woman. She's like, no need to shout. We're in the same room, you know? And he's like, I'm Lobo. I killed all of them. I could have missed her. I just couldn't have. And then she gets a little mad at him because he didn't use some proper English. So she starts to correct him. And he realizes this is his fourth grade teacher, Miss Tribb. And he's not too happy about that. So back with Legion, they're getting a call from Lobo. And he is mad. He's madder than a wet hen. He's like, you knew what you were doing. He's like, I'll turn you inside out for this. But they're like, remember, I want her delivered to me alive. And then they're like, what has this poor woman ever done to you anyway? And then he says, actually, I thought that she was more than fair to you in her book. And he's like, book? You mean she's the one? And now he is really steamed. So he's got her, and we cut away to another area where it's being reported on that the unauthorized biography of Lobo, the writer Miss Tribb's, that she is trying to appeal her case. And these ladies are gathering for like a little tea coffee clutch. And they're like, we need to call Gladys and Phyllis and bring the girls out of retirement, heavy artillery. We can't, let this person live. The Legion of Decency SWAT unit is needed again. So now we cut back to Lobo with his teacher on the back of his bike, and she's complaining of how bumpy the ride is. Why couldn't we take a lovely cruiser or a hover limo? And do you ever wash this thing? And he's like, do you ever put a sock in it? and they're harping at each other back and forth as Lobo's taking her back. So they decide to make a little pit stop at the Scarf and Barf truck stop in Space Lane 66. And they're overhearing some of the conversations that are going on inside there as they pull up. He goes in there, and, when Lobo goes in there, he usually causes some type of bar fight. You see we got some butt crack going on with Elvis back there in the background. And he says, I got to catch the old porcelain express. Please try to escape. I love that line. He's like, just get out of here. I can't wait to get rid of you. So in the meantime, the teacher, Miss Trisk, overhears these two talking, and they're not using proper English again. There's no such word as ain't. Well, she gets involved in this, and that kind of ticks these two roughnecks up. And she's kind of smarting back and forth to them. We cut to Lobo inside of the restroom, and he's splashing water on his face. And all of a sudden he hears there's some commotion going on outside. And when he comes out, he sees these guys getting ready to attack her. He's like, nobody badmouths our mothers like that, because apparently she made a crack about their mothers. And this guy Elvis, he's like, pop her one. And she's like, when did you last floss those teeth? And Lobo's like, hey, party's over. And of course, what does he do? He starts a huge bar fight. And he has to, because his orders are to bring her in alive. So he has to. And he's holding his own there. He's really stopping the guys from hurting Miss Trisk. And he says, I sympathize. I know that you want to kill her. I know the feeling, but, such is the behavior. So as they kind of wrap up the bar fight and Lobo has won, back at Legion, they're informed that there's this huge fracas going on in Lane 66 truck stop. He stopped off of there with the prisoner, and Lobo being Lobo, well, you can figure the rest out. And they're like, you better send a unit out there that no account Lobo is to be interfered with. And he's like, I don't understand. And he's like, "You're not paid to understand, just do it." And as he walks away, he says, "Excellent. This is going to be better than I ever dreamed." So now we got another one page. It's just kind of an interview, kind of a transcript of an interview that Legion did with Lobo, kind of on his mental evaluation. And then as we get to the final page of issue 1, we see Lobo back on his motorcycle with Miss Trisk, and she's talking away. "You're always talking with your fists. You completely destroyed the poor man's diner. Why can't you be a good boy, get a haircut, a proper job, find a nice girl, settle down?" And he's nagging. Lobo screams, and issue 1 is over.
Nice. Love it.
Very cool. Let me pop up my screen here for issue 2.
The only one he didn't kill.
So this one's actually a pretty awesome cover. I like this cover.
Yeah.
I do have this run, but I never read it. So this is all new to me as well, which is pretty cool. Simon Bisle. How do you say his last name? Bisle? I think it's Bisle.
I don't know, but hey, take notice, Alan Grant.
There is an Alan Grant.
There's an Alan Grant. Okay, just saying.
There is. Oh man, that's too funny. So opening up right here, one of my favorite lines of this whole issue, and it says, "In a seedy hotel in a seedy town on a seedy world, the seeds of psychotic violence are grown." That's pretty funny. This is the Lord Part 2, Lord of the Dance. So Lobo is, I didn't know what was going on in issue 1, so and I wanted Lasso to read it, so I was pleasantly surprised. So at the time, I thought I know who Lobo was, but I didn't know the story, so I assumed he was kind of chasing some kind of bounty. Or a criminal of some kind. So obviously this makes a lot more sense. But it still kind of reads that. If you start with issue 2, I think it's still a good jumping off point. But anyway, I digress. So Lobo runs into this hotel. He checks with the clerk, and the clerk informs him no one's coming in or out. And he's like, "Okay, that's fine, but I got to double check." And then he does that really cool, like Dumb and Dumber, where they're ringing the bell, like ding, 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 just constantly until the one of the hotel employees comes out and he's like, "Hey, I I'm here for this purpose. Do you got a phone? I got to check in with my boss." So he gets on the phone, and like, "Lobo, what's going on?" And it's like, trying to have a conversation with Lobo, and he's like, "Can it? You wanted regular checking in, so here I am. This is me checking in." Hangs up. He's like, "Oh, okay." So as he's leaving the hotel, he kind of realized that he got, and he's like, "Wait a minute, like maybe that guy lied to me." He says that lying little toad gave me 5 friggin' minutes, and he kicks in the door. He runs into the room, and it is gone. And then at police out of the hotel, we cut to police HQ. Where they're talking about Lobo. Lobo's in town. We got to catch Lobo. Let's dispatch these police people, and let's go after Lobo. Here's a really cool flyer. 10 things to know if you've ever encountered Lobo. Read it. I'm not going to, but one of the ones I thought was really funny was Lobo's favorite color is specular black. So, cool. And he runs into the ballet. He's like, "Oh my gosh, they're in the ballet." And the 2 ticketing guys at the front are like, "Hey, did that guy even have a ticket?" And the guy's like, "I don't know. Why don't you chase him and ask him?" So obviously we're going to do that. So finally gets on the balcony, sees like, "Oh my gosh, there they are. So in the middle of this play or theatrical thing, whatever's going on, is pretty violent. There's guns, there's chainsaws, people are getting their heads cut off and shot. Well, Lobo wasn't aware of what was going on. He thought it was some kind of like assassination attempt. So he runs down, grabs his target, old lady, by the hair, starts dragging her out. You can see this is one of the best panels, I think. You know, he's literally dragging this old lady out of the theater by her hair. And finally gets confronted by, you know, the performers and says, hey, you know, you can't perform at our performance. Like, you can't you know, perform us. You know, this is our show. So he's like, listen, I just want to leave with this lady. Like, get out of the way. They refuse. So, yeah, it's beatdown time. So they get a couple good licks on Lobo. Lobo gets a good couple licks on them. They actually draw blood from Lobo, and he's like, that's it. You drew some blood. Like, it's game over. And from here on, it's pretty violent. He's ripping people in half and lopping heads off and limbs and arms and legs. And you can see down here in the background, lots of blood and dead bodies. Looks like the audience also wanted a piece of Lobo's, or maybe he just killed them too. I don't know. But he leaves and he says, wimps. And the police catch up, and it turns out that this is all a plot plan. Where's it at? Right here. This is all a plot, all a plan to spring a trap for Lobo. And they're kind of going over that plan right here. Here's the trucker convoy. Here's the SWAT team, the Legion of Decency. And it's all kind of like coming together right at the end. So, and that brings the end to issue 2.
All right. I'll say hello to Kenneth Bird, who has joined us as we get ready to join Comic Foo with issues 3 and 4. I think your mute is on.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry about that. So again, yeah, this is a 4-issue mini, so we're gonna finish it out here. I love this cover. All right, now I'm mad. Look at that, so cool. All right, so we start again here with Legion, and we've got this this kind of commander guy here yelling at this gluttonous pilot here, who's just kind of busting out of his spacesuit, and he's got looks like a hot dog, some fries, maybe looks like some kind of shake, and 2 burgers. So there you go. And they're looking for Lobo. Lobo hasn't shown up when he was supposed to, and he's like, but he always keeps his word. He's like, keep searching for him. That's an order. And this guy is very upset. Everybody he comes into contact with, he's very short with. He just wants to know where Lobo is, because it's very important that Lobo shows up as planned for his plan to come together. And you can see he's very stressed out over this. He keeps messaging his crew every few seconds, like, hey, did you find him yet? They're like, you just asked us. He's like, I don't care. Is it done? Do it quicker. So that's what's going on here. Then over on, looks like an asteroid or something, you got these fans of Lobo that are just waiting there to help him. But they're like, no. Lobo's got it. We'll wait for the word. As they see this trucker convoy coming in, searching for Lobo. All right. Flashback to Legion here. Again, they're seeing the trucker convoy coming in. Again, he's getting more and more nervous that Lobo's not here. It's ruining his plans. And then again, we get these little 1-pagers in my issue as well. Except I got his 4th grade report card. So letters, the grades were Z, E-, and E. But the comments were the best. I'm not going to go through them all, but I will cover spelling, because that's going to be important coming up. Appallingly ignorant, except in words connected with pain, death, and their respective administration. So that's kind of funny. I did like history as well. Shows absolutely no interest. Claims history is obsolete, man, because I wasn't there. So yeah. He was banned from the debating society because he refused to accept that physical force is not the first resort in a discussion of dialogue. No careers suit him unless there's a market in the universe for the infliction of pain, injury, and death. Lobo is sadly in need of help, though not, I suspect, nearly as badly as Czarnia, his homeworld. So we get this bizarre spaceship here flying through space, and Lobo is on it. He has apparently cut the legs off of this teacher. I was actually hoping, Tony, that was going to appear in your issue because I wasn't sure how this happened, but I didn't see you cover that. So yeah, his fourth grade teacher is his hostage, and he's apparently cut off her legs, and she's still complaining to him, nagging him, and he has had enough of it. And so, mind you, his fourth grade teacher, I want to go up real quick again. That was this report card, Tribb. I forgot to mention that. So that was her that gave him these grades. Okay, so they go back and forth. They're talking about how they are trapped in this. They're trapped in some kind of spaceship, and they can't break out because this wall is bound to his nervous system. Whenever he tries, it just like it gives them pain. Apparently, they got imprisoned here because he was trapped by gas, and here the gas goes off again, and we get this kind of funny scene where he's like, "Not this time, Clyde. I can hold my breath. See." And then he goes, "Though I grant you, not for fragging and he fades off. So his captors have gassed him again and are going to bring him to the arena. They're saying the legless one shows promise. Only the sacred bee will tell, but they don't have much hope for Lobo here. So Lobo wakes up out of this haze, and it turns out he is standing on a stage of a spelling bee. Let the bee be. So here we go. We get these bizarre people who believe that spelling is the most important thing, and they're going to kill anybody that cannot spell the words correctly, and only the winner will survive. So we already know Lobo is not the best speller, but remember the caveat from his report card. So they start going around. Lobo realizes he's in trouble. You got this guy, he's all nervous. He's the previous winner, I guess. And he's also playing with his teacher. So don't forget that. So Oxymoron, the one guy messes it up, and you can see they just zap his head off. Lobo starts enjoying that. He's like, oh, this game might be more interesting than I thought. As soon as he saw the first guy die, he's like, okay, this isn't so bad. But he's also realizing that he can't spell a darn thing. So he's in trouble, right? And so it finally gets to Lobo, and they say, next contestant, spell genocide. Well, remember his report card, anything involving pain or death, he can spell. So, of course, he gets that right away. Other contestants start getting the words wrong. They get blown away. And then we see Lobo smiling as he answers mutilation correctly. The one guy keeps answering him correctly, and Lobo realizes that that's going to be a problem. So he just blows him away. And then sorry, I skipped a step. I'm sorry. He whispers in his ear "boo" and makes the guy all nervous, which makes him get a mistake, and they blow him away for that. The teacher's taunting Lobo. She's like, you're not gonna survive this, right? And so he starts complaining to the judges about like how, dude, she's a teacher. This isn't even fair. And they're like, wait, is this true? You're a teacher? And she's like, yes, and I've been badly abused by this guy as a teacher. And so Lobo's like, see, I told you she's a teacher. And they're like, yes, we see she is a teacher. Apparently they like teachers, and they're very upset that Lobo abused his teacher, and so you can see the way they're treating him.
Look at that look in his eyes.
Yes. May the divine teacher of us all give you a lesson you will never forget. Ready? Aim. Okay, Lobo's had enough. He's been playing around here. Now he busts out, and he He gives these guys the lesson that they needed. Yeah, check that out. We see his 5th grade report card. Very different report card. All A pluses. The guy is a genius. So Professor, what's his name? And it would appear as if Lobo perhaps filled this card out himself. So who knows what happened to his teacher? But career opportunities, brain surgeon, philosopher, scientist, the sky's the limit for this talented and popular pupil. Simply the best student I have ever encountered. Enough said, or would you like your face removed? So again, I think Lobo may have had a hand to play in this report card. All right, so they're back in space. She's like, "I hope you're proud of yourself," and they're arguing back and forth. She's nagging him. He's tired of it, but he's got to fly her back to turn her in because that was the mission, right? Um, Back to Legion again. They're still. He's waiting for Lobo, and sure enough, Lobo's on the line, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, patrol him, patch him through, you fool." So you got Lobo here, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm having a bad week," and he's complaining about it, all Lobo style. And the Legion guy's like, "Just tell me, do you got her? Do you got her?" And Lobo's like, basically like, "Yeah, I got her, but hey, I need a break. I need a vacation. So I'm off to Revel 7. It's apparently some vacation planning." He's like, "See ya." And the guy's like, "Revel 7? Did he say Revel 7?" And he's out of here. He's like, on an unsecure line. Oh my gosh. And he goes running off, complaining as if something is really bad. We find out Revel 7 is a party world. I got the sense of, if you guys remember Star Trek The Next Generation, what was that planet that they would always go to on holiday? But it has that kind of feel of it, right? And about the same time period this came out. I can't remember the name of that planet, but he's off to a party planet, okay, a vacation world, and it's the busy season. He said this on an insecure location, and again, he's got this whole plan coming together. These truckers, and then coming after him, and now they're headed to this party planet that's undefended. And he's like, "Oh great, I just sent all these people to their death." So of course the truckers heard, they change course, and they're everybody now is off to Revel 7. And Lobo shows up, and he's basically telling her, he's like, "Enjoy your Mai Tai." And that's where this issue ends.
Okay. We'll say hello to K-pop junkie who's joined us, who loves the main man.
Nice. All right, on to issue number 4, the final issue for this series. Check out that cover. Isn't that great? Ryza, that's the planet in Star Trek, isn't it? Somebody in the comments will have to tell me if I'm right. So we start off on Revel 7, and of course Lobo's bored. It's just a party world, but that's not really what Lobo's into. He's like, "This is so boring." And he blames it on the company, this old woman, his teacher, and she, of course, is constantly giving him trouble. She's not afraid of him. And she's like, "What would you? I guess you'd rather see maiming, rioting, carnage, destruction." He's like, "Great idea. Wish I had thought of it, or glad I had thought of it." And so he picks her up and he hangs her on a coat hook so she can't escape. And then he goes out. He just takes this clown guy out. He's like, "I already feel better." We flash back to Legion, who is now on their way. He's like, "Oh my God, Lobo's a psychotic soul. What is he going? How's he going to explain this?" Now he has to directly involve Legion. So he gets Legion on the horn, and now they are headed to Revel 7 too. So we got the trucker, we got Legion, and then his guy comes up to him and says, "Hey, Lobo's on the phone," or Lobo's on the broadcast at Revel 7, and they tune in, and here we see Lobo in his vacation attire, basically threatening the entire planet. He's telling them they've got like 5 hours before he kills everybody on the planet, and go, basically. So he's caused this mass chaos on the planet. Now everybody they're familiar with Lobo, right? So everybody, of course, is going to be trying to get off this planet as all of these other convoys are coming in to get Lobo. And this guy from Legion realizes this is worst case scenario. Oh my gosh, we got to get there now. Here we get a one pager where basically it's an article describing by Tribb, his teacher. She had written an article explaining how basically Lobo was created because of hard rock music and the dangers of that. So here you see all the people of Revel 7. They're all fighting to get off the planet. Every one of them is claiming that I'm the pilot. So yeah, it's chaos. Exactly what Lobo wanted. And Lobo's sitting there, he's like, they actually thought I was gonna kill everyone. I couldn't do that. They can't even take a joke. So he's just enjoying watching this, right? There you go. He's enjoying his Mai Tais. And then we get the Granny Squadron that shows up. What is it? The Legion of Decency. And they show up. They are just appalled by what is going on in Revel 7, the lack of morals. And they want to open up fire. You've got the trucker convoy here. They're ready to open up fire. And meanwhile, don't forget, everybody's leaving. And now Lobo's fans, they're like, okay, now is the time to engage. So they start engaging. You've got the SWAT team that has shown up now. They're engaging. They're all coming together. And essentially, exactly what we expect. They just run into each other, basically. So, yeah, they're just all going out. Meanwhile, Lobo is doing some karaoke, of course, on Revel 7 as everybody's just dying around him.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do. Yeah. And he's like, okay, basically, he's like, I've had enough. It's time to go. So, yeah, I mean, you can imagine the chaos here. Yeah, the granny's like, oh my gosh, peep shows, disgusting, sick, unnatural. I feel faint. And they're just taking it all out. They're just destroying everything. It's a riot. I can totally see this being a movie for Lobo. These 4 issues, it'd be perfect. Oh, and then you get the dance troupe here. Some kind of dance group that shows up. They're looking for Lobo too, by the way. So I mean, it's just this crazy scene. And meanwhile, Lobo's like, all right, well, I'm done here. Great vacation. He goes flying off with his teacher as the chaos leaves the chaos behind. And he shows up. He's like, oh, hey, look, it's Legion shock troops. And he sees them coming in, but again, he just goes flying off, doing his own thing. He finally shows back up at Legion to deliver his bounty, as he promised, his hostage. Here you go. And immediately he's like, oh my gosh, where's her legs? What did you do? And he's like, hey, I promised I'd deliver. She's alive. Look at this. And he's like, tell me I did a good job. And he's like, all right, fine. You did a good job. I'll take her into custody now. And at that point, he's like, oh, that's great. I thought you'd never say it. And then he goes, class dismissed, teach, crack. And he breaks her neck. And he's like, yeah, like you didn't say nothing about after you had custody. I brought her here alive. And this Legion guy's just like, oh my gosh, this guy is such a moron. He's gotten me in so much trouble. And that's the end. So that's the fragging end, I should say. And from here on, Lobo's monthly adventures appear in Legion 91. So there you go.
That was a lot to absorb.
Right? Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts about this 4-issue series?
I absolutely loved it. 9 out of 10. I thought it was so much fun.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, it was just classic 90s. The humor was just right. I love the artwork. It was a good story. Like by the time I ended issue 3, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to know what happens, and I'm like rushing off to 4. So, it was great. I loved it. I'm a Lobo fan now.
What I liked about this, and were two specific things. I thought they gave him great facial images in all of the issues in his reacting to things. Like you
Yes.
really, just by looking at the panel, could really get the sense of what was going on, which is the way it should be, but it's not the way it always is.
Right.
And then also something, especially in Tony's issue that he did, I thought the coloring was very good on that. Of course, I really like the bright colors. I'm just kind of am attracted to that. I really like the coloring, and the colorist never gets like any love or anything, but I thought the colorist did a good job on this.
Yeah, it was so well done. It like I said, it felt like I was watching a movie or something. I loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well,
I got to go out and make sure I pick up those 4 issues now.
Yeah.
I actually found my 4 issues at a local convention. I don't think the guy knew what he had, but he's selling all 4 of them for like $5.
Nice.
So I was like,
and there's a follow-up to this, Lobo's Back, which is, of course, that great cover with, apparently he's not a fan of the Fanboys.
No. Which is probably why Tim's not on the show anymore.
Right? Yep.
Lobo got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I want to tell you, I know we got some Lobo fans in the chat. In just a moment, I'm going to show something really cool Lobo related that maybe they've never seen.
Ooh.
So I'm going to do that in a moment. But first, before we get into the book show portion, I'll let you know. Let us know some of your favorite stuff regarding Lobo. Share with that on Instagram and use the hashtag Fanboys Live and the Retro Review because we'd love to see your contribution to today's show by sharing some Lobo stuff in your collection on Instagram. So who would like to go first with the book show?
I can go.
Go ahead, Comic Foo 2814.
Oh, don't forget to talk about your channel too.
Okay, so everybody knows I'm the Green Lantern fan. So
you are?
Yeah. Which Lobo book would you pick as a Green Lantern fan? You should have it, Lasso. You should have this book.
Okay, show me.
We've got Justice League International number 18. Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? We've got a Justice League collector on the Fanboys, and issue number 19.
Oh, I see.
See that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I love those covers. I always have. So there you go.
Those are cool.
Oh, you know what? And I do want to show one other thing only because it just got here. So my son is visiting today. And he's moving, and his friends were getting rid of stuff and said, "Oh, you can take this." And he brings it home. He says, "I don't know what it is, but I thought you might like it. Check this out. It's not comic book related, but tell me if you guys don't know what this thing is."
Oh yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Is that color form board?
Ninja Gaiden. It's a video game, but like it's a glass like just like a glass picture. Really?
It's the arcade stand, the arcade booth, right at the top.
Yes.
This would have appeared at the top and would be all lit up to show you the arcade game that was in the booth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
And they just gave it to him? Man, that'd be nice.
Yeah, he just brought it home. I was like, yeah, I'll keep it.
No, it's very cool.
Green Lantern Quarterly. Yes, that's the other one. Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Well, Signature King Antonio, what's going on with your channel? What do you have to show?
On my channel, I just got some more shorts coming up. It looks like YouTube has taken me out of their timeout chair, so I uploaded the short on Thursday, and it's doing really well, doing very well. It's right about to hit 5K if it hasn't already by the end of the show. I don't have anything really Lobo related that I knew wasn't already going to be talked about on the show. I already have this run, so I didn't really bother to show it. And I forgot that I had Foo's issue too. I should have grabbed that, but wouldn't have mattered anyway. So I just gonna show the cool new foil in my collection here. I was debating on whether or not to get this one because I'm already getting almost every variant copy of this book signed at Baltimore Comic Con, and I was like, why not? Just go for the whole royal flush and just get every single issue signed. And that's what I'm gonna do. So here I have the 1 in 500.
Oh, cool.
King Shark variant. I literally have every single of issue 1 variant for this run. So Scott Collins, artist Scott Collins, is going to sign all of them for me. So I'm very excited for that. It's going to be surprisingly a very King Shark heavy convention. So
I always thought that was a great cover anyway.
Yeah. And the artist, I'm not too familiar with the cover artist. Trevor something. I forget what was the guy's name, but it seems like a nice issue. Book's in great shape, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So on my channel, before I do the book show, I dropped a comic book editions video with an AOK from Silver Haired Bronze Age Babe Comics. That's our friend Sarah, who you've seen on Fanboys several times, and we should probably have her back again. It's been a few months. We like to have her on every couple months. So that video is up on my channel already. I have a back issue of the week YouTube short already up. Starting the new week, tomorrow there'll be a back issue of the week YouTube short focusing on a Batman villain. So you can check that out tomorrow and learn about that. My comic book editions video for Tuesday afternoon, volume 202, is going to be a Seeking Superman AOK that I recently got in the mail. It's the unboxing of that. And Tony, there will be a signature on that book. So that might interest you. So, Jason's popping in there.
Travis Hairsine. Yeah, it's the artist on the cover. He's right. Yep.
Yeah. So when it came time for a book show, the safe bet would have been to show Wonder Woman Volume 2, Issue 60, because that's Wonder Woman and Lobo on the cover. And it's a great cover. Maybe I'll post it on Instagram sometime in the future. But to be very honest with you, I didn't pick that tonight for 2 reasons. Number 1, because it's very predictable. Number 2, because there is like 2 other long boxes on top of that box, and I just didn't feel like taking them down. But instead, I wanted to show you something, and I'm so glad I did this because it looks like we got some true Lobo fans in the live chat with us. I wanted to show something that was A-OK to me within the last few years. This came from my friend Andre in Brazil, and to my knowledge, and I would love you Lobo fans to chime in if this is accurate or not, I don't think that this was ever a cover in the United States. So I thought this would be perfect for my book show tonight. Here we go.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
What story is that? Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't even know what story it is for sure, but the cover's fantastic on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Lobo had some run-ins with Superman back in the early 90s. That's how I first got introduced to him.
Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was something fun to pull out tonight. And
so Lasso, now that Foo shared his story about his first intro to Lobo, what's your first intro to Lobo?
See, Lobo kind of came in when I was out of comics. So when I came back into comics, he was already kind of established for the most part.
Sure.
I don't have a lot of Lobo in my collection. I think he's an interesting character. I do remember him being used in the Krypton TV show, which was about Jor-El and all of them before the planet exploded.
They had Lobo in that show?
I think I saw that, yeah.
Was it
like a young Lobo or something?
I actually thought the series was pretty good. So I was a little disappointed that, I did our Instagram post and I was actually going to use music for it. And the song that I wanted to use was not available to be used. And I wanted to use a song called Main Man by Cher. And it wasn't available to be used. Where she's like, "You're my main man." And I'm like, that would have been perfect. Oh, we got some Krypton fans.
My first intro to Lobo was when he was on Justice League Unlimited, the animated series, when I was a wee lad. Superman died on that show, and Lobo came, and he's like, "I'm here to audition for for his spot." He's just... Who was it? It was Desaad, one of Darkseid's beat men. He's he's got the sod on the ground. He's just stacking cars on top. He
Nice.
can't even get up, and he's just like, just give up, man. It's funny.
Nice. Yeah, so it was fun. I thought doing a Lobo retro review tonight. So good pick, 2814.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Tony,
it's not
what are
often
we
we all agree that it's a high 8, 9 out of 10. I
Right?
think this is only the third or fourth time that's ever happened, so it's pretty rare.
So Tony, what are you picking for us next week?
Oh man, see, now we're doing obscure characters. Now I gotta. Think
You've
of
already
something.
done obscure characters.
Yeah, what's he
Well,
talking about?
I've done some pretty obscure characters / teams, but I'm sure I could deep dive and pull out some Danny on the Street issue.
I like Danny the Street.
Yeah,
I think we need to start taking a poll of who the chat feels picks the best stories amongst the three of us.
Yes.
Well,
Just remember, everybody, I brought you the Watchmen and Lobo.
no,
Yeah.
no, I did not.
I brought you core characters, more recently including Green Arrow.
I brought
So,
you
Section
Section 8.
Yeah.
I like Flex too. Flex is a cool character.
Section 8, the creme de la creme of superhero team up movie or shooting stories. So,
Hey,
Yeah.
someone went and bought all of those comic books because of us retro reviewing them.
that's true. That's true. And I brought you Chain Wars or Chain
Oh
Gang?
God, I was trying to forget about that
Gang
one.
Wars. I don't even remember what it was. It was so out there. In fact, I didn't even know it existed until I physically laid my eyes on it for the first time. And I was like, "Wow, this looks really bad. I'm going to buy it." And I was right.
Bronze Haired brought us Lady Cop. So,
Yes,
yeah.
but that was one of our best episodes ever.
Yeah, that's true. That one was definitely a lot of fun to review and chat about.
The
Yeah, for
Bloodline
sure.
annuals. No, have you read those? They are so not good.
Frankincense and myrrh. Yes. Man, I have to think of something really far out there. Really far out there. Something just
We're
like
in for a treat, Lasso.
Oh, we're in for something.
something. Yeah, something. That's
Yeah.
probably true. We're in for something. I don't know. Something different. Something different. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right.
Well, tune in next week to find out what the greatest DC comic show on YouTube will bring you with our next Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Thank you, everyone who joined us in the live chat. And if you're watching the rewind, thank you for making it all the way to the end. We had a great time with you tonight. And thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you next week. Until then, take care. And if you're going to SDCC, be safe and have fun and a good time and buy us stuff.
Yeah, buy me something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buy us lots of stuff. Please. Bye.